Shalom. If you are watching this, you already know you were chosen and called for more. Not in an ego way, not in a superior way, in an awareness way, and you feel it. And once you are aware, responsibility follows. You have tried comfort, you have tried blending in, you have tried quieting the call, and none of it worked. That is not because something is wrong with you. It's because you were never meant to live small or unaware. Right now, you may feel uncertainty about timing, about direction, about whether you are moving fast enough or becoming enough. If anything, it is a space where He is closest. All throughout Scripture, people did not receive full clarity. They received a word, "Fear not, I am with you. Go in peace." That peace is shalom. Shalom is not everything being easy. Shalom is wholeness, nothing missing, nothing broken. Order established while you are still moving. Yahweh does not wait for certainty before He moves you forward. He establishes peace so you can move through uncertainty without losing yourself. If you are truly called, drifting will never satisfy you. Lighthouses stand, and you were never meant to be a boat at sea, reacting to every wave. A lighthouse does not chase ships. A lighthouse does not panic during storms. It stays planted. It becomes visible, and because it stands firm, others are able to find their direction. That is what it means to align. That is what it means to be greatness on display. Not greatness for ego, not greatness for attention. Greatness on display happens naturally when you align with God. Guidance, order, direction. When Yahweh is leading your life, His order begins to show through you. When the vision feels heavy, it is not because it is wrong. It is because you have not grown into it yet. Vision always demands more of you. More discipline, more consistency, more honesty, more presence. Yahweh never gives a vision that fits the current version of you. The vision pulls you forward into who you are becoming. That is why comfort feels off. That is why settling feels heavy. That is why distraction no longer satisfies you. You were not designed to disappear into the crowd. You were designed to stand and signal. Uncertainty is not confusion. Confusion keeps you stuck. Uncertainty requires movement without full visibility. And biblically, obedience always comes before clarity. Faith is not knowing every step. Faith is taking the next one while trusting Yahweh to order your path. This month, I am choosing to show up daily, not because I have everything figured out, but because obedience matters more than excuses. Consistency matters more than comfort. Alignment matters more than ease. This is not about perfection. This is about positioning, becoming someone who keeps their word, becoming someone who stands firm, becoming someone whose life points others towards direction instead of confusion. If this resonates with you, you already know what time it is. You do not need convincing. You need alignment. Shalom. If you're still watching, this part is for you. You don't stay for noise. You stay for meaning. You felt the uncertainty, the quiet seasons, the moments when clarity feels just out of reach. But listen, uncertainty doesn't mean you're off path. It often means you're being positioned. You weren't meant to move like everyone else. You weren't built to rush. You weren't called to explain yourself to people who can't see. You're a reference point. A lighthouse doesn't panic in the storm. It doesn't chase a reassurance. It doesn't dim itself to fit in. It stays anchored, and it shines. And if all you can do right now is stay grounded, that's enough. If you're choosing discipline over distraction, that's growth. If you're protecting your peace instead of proving your worth, that's wisdom. You don't need to compete. You don't need to announce yourself. You don't need external validation. Light doesn't argue. It reveals. And the right people find their way to it. So if life feels quiet right now, good. Stillness sharpens alignment. Stay rooted. Stay aligned. Stay ready. You're not late. You're not lost. You're exactly where you need to be. Think you're capable of living a good life, you will act capable of living a good life, and soon you will have a good life. For as you think, so you become. If you think you're a good for nothing, you'll act like a good for nothing. And you'll treat yourself like a good for nothing. And eventually, you'll be good for nothing. The same is true in the opposite direction. Think you are capable of living a good life. You will act capable of living a good life. And soon, you will live a good life. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Discipline is the key to freedom. You would be unstoppable if, in the face of temptation, laziness, and impulse, you held true to the path you set for yourself. Don't be an all talk. Just as important as keeping promises to yourself is working to keep every promise you make in general and learning not to make promises you can't keep or ensure you can keep. Don't feel that you have some social obligation to promise your time to everyone and anyone who asks, even if they are a loved one. This doesn't mean that you can't offer your help to someone, but before making the commitment of promise, make sure it's something you're willing to keep. It's better to say no than to offer a false promise. Otherwise, you will become someone who is all talk and no action. Talk is cheap. You should be better than that. Meditate. Don't neglect the mind. We are quick to go on a diet after eating poorly, or to work out when we notice a change in our physical ability. But how many treat the mind with the same care? Just as stretching ensures a better state of being for the body's overall health, meditating provides similar benefits to the mind. Anxiety, anger, frustration, depression, every other mental state of being, including the unending chattering of thoughts, can be made quiet through meditation. Most people are unaware of this and instead attempt to distract their mind with the consumption of media. Just as turning up the radio to mask the sound of a car's failing engine does nothing to fix the problem, the car will run poorly and the engine will eventually fail whether or not music is playing. Starting today, dedicate a portion of your daily routine to meditation, specifically mindful meditation. The practice of purposely bringing one's attention to the present moment without evaluation. Start with 5 minutes a day and work up to longer periods of time when you feel comfortable. Like working out, it is critical that you are consistent with the practice if you wish to experience noticeable results. Find a quiet spot and sit down in a comfortable position, but not slouched. Keep your eyes open and directed just above the tip of your nose. Allow them to lose focus. Breathe naturally and focus on your breath. Take time to notice the sensation in your lungs as they fill with air and release. Notice the sounds of your surroundings, letting them come in and out of focus without evaluating. Do the same with any physical sensations you might feel. When a thought comes, don't indulge in it or evaluate it. Acknowledge it and let it pass. This practice will significantly calm your mind. Those intrusive thoughts of past, future, or made-up worries will no longer control your thoughts. Instead of drifting off in an exhausting stream of anxious internal ramblings, you will be able to silence the thoughts almost as soon as they appear. This does not mean you ignore your thoughts. Any recurring thoughts should be analyzed and dealt with. But once a decision about the thought has been made, one based on reason, it's time to trust yourself and let it go. Meditate. Get on quantum leaps, jerk you out of your comfort zone. Prepare yourself for a pretty wild ride. You're going to cover some unfamiliar terrain and encounter obstacles you've never faced before. It can feel like the safety chain linking you with behavior patterns that worked in the past is being stretched to the limit. At times you may wonder if the situation is about to spin out of control. Uneasiness is a predictable psychological reaction when a quantum leap is underway. The normal reaction is to want to hold on tightly, but you're going to have to learn to let go. So turn loose if you want to jump. Don't be surprised if you grow uneasy. That's a predictable part of the process. When you take the quantum leap, you ride the situation, but you don't really control it at all that much. In fact, the only way you control it is by knowing where you're going, continuing the pursuit, and learning from your mistakes. The quantum leap is an act of faith, exhilarating, and possibly scary at the same time. You have to give up a large degree of security and safety. You have to give up a large degree of security, safety, and plow through greater amounts of ambiguity. You are already positioned to escape to a higher plane of performance. If you wait until you can get it perfect, you will never get it at all. The time to start is now. You can only occur in the present. Be present. That's the first law. When
Whatever else you need will come as you go. A person can make a career out of laying the groundwork to do something really big. Please understand, you don't prepare for a quantum leap. You make it, then fine-tune your approach. You go for it. First you act, then you frame out the details of your strategy. Move on your dream. Start, and let what happens help you develop a coherent game plan. Mobility is the crucial element. Strategy, formulation, then evolves naturally out of your discovery process. You'll discover once underway that you know more than you know. Just trust your instincts. A quantum leap is something you are already prepared to do. It's not some absurd, wild-eyed scheme that calls for a fantastic stroke of luck just to have an outside chance of working. It's not an example of your reach exceeding your grasp. And it's most definitely not a matter of going for some grand goal that calls for all this preparation, all this getting ready. Make your move before you're ready. You'll discover once underway that you know more than you know.
The man with the most definite plan and purpose, the most power. The man with the most definite plan and purpose and the most power rides on to victory. The others scurry for cover and get crushed under the heels of those who are more determined. Victory goes to the people who know what they want and are determined to have it. No policy except that of drifting along, hoping that something may return up to help them. The difference between success and failure is power and the lack of it.